man, vacation will absolutely destroy your reading schedule. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be wrapping up the month of May, and like I said, vacation absolutely destroyed my reading schedule this month, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and jump into what I did read this month, and we will go ahead and start with the first book of the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, The Way of Kings. I gave this book 4 stars, and this was a great read. This is obviously a series I've heard about for a really long time, and I was really looking forward to getting into it. If you don't know, I am trying to read all of the Cosmere this year. I hadn't read any of it before 2023, and so I was really looking forward to doing that. I'm following this list that I found on one of the Sanderson subreddits. I think it was the Cosmere subreddit, and so I'm finally on the Stormlight Archive section of this list, and man, this was a great read. I finally understand the hype that this series has around it and why people love it as much as they do. It was fantastic, and I'm really glad that I'm finally getting to it. I think it is currently my second favorite Cosmere read. I still think I have Mistborn Era 1's first book, The Final Empire, as my favorite one, but man, it's really close. As I sit with this book more and more, I think maybe it could end up edging out that first book, but we'll see. It's kind of one of those things where right now it's not, but maybe as I get a little bit more into the series, it'll be something that I end up bumping up my list a little bit. I did do a whole review for it, so if you want to, you can go ahead and check out that and get more of my thoughts on it. I mentioned I went on vacation this month, and I actually went on 2 vacations to the beach, and that is relevant to the next book I read. I ended up going to the Outer Banks, Kitty Hawk area. I took my motorcycle out there and got some of these patches, which is pretty cool. But rode my motorcycle out there. It was a pretty long trip, but had a really good time out there. And then the next week I went to Myrtle Beach for Bike Week down there, which was kind of cool. So I got that patch there. But I bring all that up going to the beach because it inspired me to read Jaws. Probably most people's worst fears at a beach is, shark attacks, sharks, all that stuff. I know that I personally don't really get into the ocean all that much anymore. I used to do a lot of saltwater fishing, and some of the stuff I pulled out of the ocean just right in the surf where people were swimming, surfing, all that kind of stuff. It really opens your eyes into what is out there. I guess it also opens your eyes into how safe it is to be in the water. But yeah, it's kind of something that if the water is not clear enough for me to see where I'm going, it's not really something I want to get into. All that being said, let's get back to the point of this, which is Jaws. I end up giving this 3 stars. It was a really strange book. I did a full review for it as well, and basically the first little chunk of this book, it's really short, and the last little chunk of it I really liked. It really revolved around the shark, some suspense. Anything with the shark is great, but there's a long, strange middle section in this book where it really turns into, I've been calling it like a desperate housewife regretting her life. It's just straight out of left field. Did not expect that to be in Jaws whatsoever. Is really strange. Some of it was almost it was so strange it was almost interesting, but yeah, definitely not what I expected out of this book. It was something. Like I said, 3 stars. Pretty hard for me to recommend to most people. If you really want to experience Jaws, just watch the movie because it is the better way to consume this material, I think. After Jaws, I moved on and read On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Man, that is a tongue twister for me. I cannot not get that right. But this is the next James Bond novel I read, and this one was a big improvement over the last couple of James Bond books I have read. I gave this one 4 stars, and it just kind of had that charm back to it. I mentioned charm a lot when I talk about this series, and it just was there between James himself, the way the narrative was written, the things James had to do to be a part of it, just all the characters were great. And one thing that I think helps is we're kind of getting a through line villain in this little section of James Bond. I think Thunderball, this one, and the next novel all kind of have a through line villain, which I think really does help with the narrative. It's not so much monster villain of the week kind of stuff. We kind of get, a little bit of cat and mouse and, just a little bit more intriguing on that front. I don't know if I'll do a full review for this one or not. I may. I like to review everything that I read, so that may or may not be coming. But yeah, overall, I'm looking forward to the next Bond book after this one. You know, it's a step in the right direction, and I'm hoping that it stays that way. I know as Ian Fleming got later on in life, he had some illnesses and some sicknesses, so we'll see if the writing deteriorates too much. I've heard a few things that by the last couple books, you know, it kind of starts to fall off because of that, but we'll see how that goes. After James Bond, I returned to one of my favorite fantasy worlds, Westeros. I read A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which is really just a collection of like 3 novellas that George R.R. Martin has written, and I don't actually know when they were originally written, but I decided to read this because this got greenlit to be a show for HBO. And so I really liked House of the Dragon. I did read Fire and Blood, which that is based off of, so I wanted to read this before any you know, developments got too far into that process. And, you know, this was a good read. I gave it 3 stars. It has that problem where technically they're all novellas, so all the stories are kind of short, and you don't get too much fleshed out. You get a little bit, but I'm really looking forward to the adaptation of this because I think these characters, they could have a lot of fun with. Because the way this narrative, you're following a hedge knight, you know, and I will do a full review for this for sure. But just the way you're following these characters, I just think they could have a lot of fun and it be a slightly more lighthearted version of what we've gotten from Westeros. Not everything needs to be as dark and grim as House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones was. So I don't know, I think it could be a different light that can get put onto the series from this book. So once again, 3 stars, liked it. If you are holding out for the next book like I am, I'm a believer that we will get Winds of Winter and not what is the last one supposed to be called? A Spring of Summer or a Summer Spring or something Summer. I don't think we'll ever get that one. I do think we will get Winds of Winter. But if you're holding out reading any Westeros, I recommend that you go ahead and read this. It's quick, it's fun, and you know, it's just nice to be back into the world. And now it is time to bring up this book. The bane of my existence, apparently, when it comes to reading, because I just never read it. But I have a good excuse this month. I had carved out this last little bit of the month to be for this book. I knew I was going to be starting Words of Radiance, which I did. I'm about a quarter of the way through. I'm pretty much enjoying it just as much as I was The Way of Kings, but I figured while I had the buffer, because I need to just finish that by the end of June, I would have time to read this. And actually what happened is my friend, she is writing a novel, and I am one of her beta readers. So I think there's like 12 or 15 of us, and I dedicated all of the time I would have read The Ships of Mary Orr by Jenny Wirtz to her beta book, or the beta read for her book, and so I can give her feedback and everything. So I did not make any progress on The Ships of Mary Orr, which is really sad. My girlfriend told me it should just be a running joke that this book is on every wrap-up and every TBR, and it's just me saying I will get to it at some point over and over again, which would be kind of funny, but it is actually a series I do want to get to. I even really did want to read this at a couple points this month, and just with the traveling and vacations and stuff, I just didn't have the time to get to it, unfortunately. So maybe June will be the month that I can get to it. Now let's go ahead and switch mediums a little bit and talk about some manga. So I only read 1 manga this month, which was Vagabond. I finished Vagabond up, and I was really happy with it. I was following along with the Murphy Napier and Philip Chase read-along that they were doing. They had some really great discussions, and that really enhanced my enjoyment of this series. I think if it wasn't for those, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did. This is one of those kind of bucket list series that I had, so I'm glad that I am finally done with it. And going into this, I was a little skeptical because it wasn't finished. And I came to find out as I read and, you know, looked a little bit more into the series that there's kind of an ending. It looked like there is a kind of a museum art collection for kind of the end of the series that the author put together because they weren't sure if they were ever going to come back to the series. And after reading that, I think it's like 118 panels of art and everything. I'm satisfied if he never comes back to the series. I think the ending ended up being really, really well done. Yes, there are some threads and some characters that I would definitely like some more from. if we don't get it, that's fine. I really did end up enjoying how this came to an end. So yeah, that's awesome. And I think I'm going to continue following along with Philip and Murphy. I think they are going to be reading Monster next. So that is going to be another series that I go ahead and add on to my list of manga that I'm reading, which will also include, let's see if I can even remember them all. One Piece, My Hero, Boruto, Black Clover. I'm slowly reading through Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z again. I feel like I'm supposed to start Chainsaw Man at some point, and there's a couple other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head, but hopefully June is the month that I can catch up on some of those, because I'm behind. Oh, Berserk and Vinland Saga as well, if a chapter came out for those. I don't even know, I didn't check. So hopefully those are some series that I'll continue reading and get through next month. So yeah, but Vagabond was really great. Some quick TV/movie talk. I am continuing watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I just started season 5 with my girlfriend. You know, we really like it at this point. You know, you kind of know what Buffy the Vampire Slayer is. It's fun. It's not anything too serious, but it is something we really enjoy watching. That kind of took a backseat to something else we were watching, which was the Jeopardy Masters Tournament. We're both really big fans of Jeopardy, so watching some of the best go at it and just like how good and how much trivia they know was really awesome. So we did actually watch a bunch of Jeopardy this past month instead of Buffy. I did start one TV show on my own, which is The West Wing. Only one episode in, seems interesting enough, but didn't have too much time to watch it with everything else that was going on. But I'm looking forward to getting in. I just finished up The Sopranos, so I'm kind of sticking with that older, early 2000s-ish TV shows. I think after this, maybe I'm going to pick up The Wire. So same, again, in that same kind of vein. But yeah, just one episode in, so we'll see. And what else? Oh, I rewatched part of the original 1954 Godzilla. I'm a really big Godzilla fan. I can remember being a kid and they actually had a bunch of the old movies just on YouTube. Somebody had uploaded them kind of in the wild west days of YouTube. I can remember watching them on like an old laptop or computer or something, just watching you know, old Godzilla movies. So I've been a fan for a while, and it's been a while since I've seen the original one. I have watched it, but it's probably been at least 10 years. I was probably still in high school the last time I watched it. So yeah, I fell asleep. I put it on before bed one night, so I need to go back and actually rewatch it. But I don't know. That's a really great Godzilla movie. If you're into Godzilla and you haven't seen it, you definitely should watch it. I think it is on HBO or Max, whatever they're calling it now. Some quick video game news or chat. I'm just playing Valorant with my friends. Hopefully when CS2 comes out, we can get them to switch over and we can 5-stack that and play that. And I also started playing Ace Combat 7. I think that's what it's called. It's one of the, you know, jet fighter kind of plane fighting games, which I don't know, I've played some of them in the past and they're always kind of fun. I'm not any good at it, but I just wanted to include that as well. A new segment for me in these wrap-ups is going to be author/publisher shout-outs. I have an email in the description, or you could reach out to me on Discord, which one of the authors did. But if you want to send me something, I won't promise that I'll get around to reading or reviewing it, but I am more than happy to shout out authors, anybody who's putting a story together. I mean, that's just awesome, and more power to you. So yeah, you can reach out to me. The email is down in the description, along with links and stuff to all of the books, the 3 books I'm going to mention here. And the first one is for Rob Cayley. I'm not 100% sure how to say his last name, but Death at Farron's Inn, and it is a fun murder mystery based around a legal community in London. Sounds like a fun kind of read. That is I think his one kind of adult novel. He reached out to me and asked me, you know, just kind of give him a shout out. And so here it is. He seems to write a lot of like middle grade stuff. So maybe if you have a younger kid, some of his stories will be in line for you. The next is somebody who just got their book put on Audible. And the author is J.R. Carroll, and their book is More Than a Vampire. And like I said, they just got this put on Audible, and they gave me an audio version of it, so that's really cool. And the quick little, you know, like tagline for it is, his job for 200 years was to hunt rogue vampires. Simon did it well. His clan depended upon him, and keeping things in balance suited Simon. Everything changed in 1639. sounds pretty interesting. And then the last one was sent to me by Campfire Publishing, and it is Anne Christie, The Never-Ending End of the World, which is an interesting title name. But this actually sounds really interesting. The kind of like quick tag, you know, kind of attention grabber is Station 11 meets The Last of Us. And I mean, I love The Last of Us. So I am looking forward to, this is one I'm going to read. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, once again, if anybody wants to send me anything, feel free to reach out to me via email or Discord. Yeah. And the very last part of this wrap up, which I'm sure some people have been waiting for, is I'm going to go ahead and unbox Secret Project 2. I got it this month and decided I would open it up in my wrap up just for fun. So let me go ahead and get into this box. Also, just quick warning, if you don't want the title to the Secret Project spoiled, I'm definitely going to be saying the name of this when I get it all the way open. So you can see the inside of the box here with a quote from Wit. I'll cut all that noise out because I'm sure that would sound awful, but inside we get this pin, which I don't know if you can really see it too well. Yep. Of Vasher. Looks like we get a nice bookmark, which once again a little hard to see with the glare. You get another one of these. I think there's a sticker. Yep, this cool little cute sticker. And now I'll get the book itself out. The last warning if you don't want title spoiled. So here we have it, The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson. Once again, I think these books covers look awesome. I'm going to go ahead and leave it in the plastic for now. I did the same thing with my Tress copy because I'm not ready to read it yet. But yeah, I hope if you are part of the Kickstarter like I am, that you get your copy soon. I know there have been issues sending out boxes and everything. I think I'm probably pretty early on in the people who got their box, so that's pretty cool. But like I said, I really hope you get yours sooner than later because I know waiting for a really long time would drive me absolutely crazy. But that is everything I have for the month of May. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and have a good one.